Hello everyone, I'm Space Wizard Total War. The Shadows of Change DLC for Total War Warhammer 3 has brought some awesome new units, so for this episode we'll do something very simple and just run the Onyx Crowmen through a gauntlet of all the melee flying units currently in Total War Warhammer. Are the Crowmen the new kings of the skies, or is this just a niche pick for when you're running a special themed army? We are jumping into custom battles today to find out, taking one unit of Onyx Crowmen with nothing extra going on, and tossing them into a slapboxing fight with one unit of another flyer. Before we start, head down to the comments and let me know just how well you think our beaky boys are going to perform. For their first test, our Crowmen shall be going up against probably the easiest targets for them, period, the cave bats. So we'll just grab our first Crowmen here. I've got 4 for other tests later on. We'll just send them straight into the cave bats. No, I don't want to fight you, Boyar. You can go away. Yeah, here to test the battle between the bats and the Crowmen, so let's see. First engagement. The Crowmen is so aerodynamic looking on the way in. And as one would expect, the bats just get utterly smacked. They fall from the sky all over the place. So what the bats did not do proper is they didn't bring knives, which is what the Onyx Crowmen are packing. So only one Crowman fell on the fighting with the cave bats, so cave bats just don't have what it takes. And obviously, so moving on. Next up for the challenge for our Crowmen is basically just the next step up, being the fell bats. The exact same thing as the cave bats, except for these guys, when they run out of
was built
leadership, it will, instead of just turning and running away, they will crumble, so they will fight a little bit longer, and maybe it'll do some more damage.
Is you
Because the Wand of Jet forgot to take off all of his abilities.
As we've done for generations.
Roman impact, and those knives are whirling. Health bar is draining really quickly on these Fellbats. Binding is already critical. I'm thinking we should see them go away pretty quickly. Bats and blood all over the ground. And that appears to be the end for the Fellbats. And they actually did worse than the cave bats. They didn't get a single model slain. But they did a little bit more health damage. That's going to be these battles are going to be a little bit of variance each time, but not a bunch. Moving on to their next challenges. And stepping up to the plate next is going to be the Drooky Harpies. Now, unlike the Cave Bats and Fell Bats, which were about half the cost of your 600 gold Onyx Crowmen there, the Harpies are about 100 gold less, so maybe they perform a little bit better.
Capability and force of arms. I trust none other than you, the chosen of Cathay, to stand by my side.
We're bringing you on those simply for his killer pre-battle speeches. In come the Crowmen. They get real in there when it's time to fight. The aggression kicks in real fast. The Harpies are trying their best, but they're coated in their own blood already. The Crowmen are just unstoppable. And they're already wavering. Well, only one Crowman fell, and they took almost no casualties, and this is a unit that is 500 gold to 600 gold, so unfortunate for the Harpies. They got absolutely smacked. Onward to the next challenger. Next, we'll see if the Crows of Kane, which are Harpies with the Crow Feast ability there, which will give them a bit of healing in combat, have any chance of bringing down our Onyx Crowmen. They've got a little bit better stats than their previous, being an ROR unit. Let's just see if they have what it takes. There's also 750 gold as opposed to 500. Crow Feast is kicking on in. Looks like healing is activated. Man, it seems like the opposite of healing. The ground is already littered with crimson Harpies. Still no Crowmen have been taken out yet. Oh, one Crowman falls. 2 Crowmen. Actually starting to get some damage in. We're finally starting to see the... Nope, that's it. So 3 Crowmen to the Crows of Kane's 20 fallen in a fight. That's pretty decisive. Next up is going to be the Chaos Furies, and while there are several variants, we are only going to test against the Chaos Furies of Nurgle, as I've already done this test myself, and know exactly how the Crowmen face against all of the different Furies. They actually perform the best against the Nurgle ones, so here is the battle. They fly across. I love that they just gotta sit back and wait. Doom approaches. On Onyx wings. They've got poison damage, and they've got that Cloud of Flies abilities, which increases their melee defense by 9 in melee, so you'd think theoretically on paper, the Furies might do alright against the Crowmen. And no. The answer is no. Not a single Crowmen falls to the Nurglish Chaos Furies. And that is an identical outcome to how it is for all of the other different Furies of all of the other Chaos Gods, so onward to some more scary challengers. Our next challenger is going to be the Stingrays of the Skies. Screamers of Tzeentch are also 700 gold, and it looks like it already knows they're not a threat at all. Let's see, though. Theoretically, the Screamers are not quite for fighting the Crowmen. They're more of an anti-large target, but they've got barrier. They've got some very strong melee attack. They can bring down some crows, probably. Still have some great melee attacks. The attack animations are awesome on the Screamers. Oh, but the Demon Stingrays are starting to fall. One crow has been taken out. They are down to quite a few Screamers. One after another, 3 crows have fallen, though. Does look like Crowmen have the upper hand for now, unless something crazy changes. This Lord wishes he had spells. Screamers fizzle on away. Only 3 Crowmen have fallen. So far, I think the most Crowmen that have been taken out was from the Dire Bats, or the Fell Bats. While we're here, let's try their ROR variant, the Shrieking Skyraids. What makes these guys a little bit different, besides just having better all-around stats, is they've got a Bound Explosion spell they can cast, which they likely will not against the Crowmen, but I bet if they do, they can get some fair damage. The Crowmen do not have all that much in terms of armor. So we can show off the difference in stats between the Skyraids and the Crowmen. Armor-piercing damage, a lot more weapon strength, a lot less models. We got 60 Crowmen, facing off against 15, way less now Skyraids. Or 20, I believe, where we started. 20 to 18. So far, it's looking to be almost a mirror of the previous engagement. Oh, one more Crowman has been taken out. The Skyraids doing alright for themselves. They basically have the stats of a gold 3-tier chevron unit there. It's only 4. Are they trying to retreat? Because that looked to be what was going on there. They were trying to pull back. Well, either way, the Crowmen easily come away with victory against another ROR unit. And staying with Tzeentch, next we will try the dreaded Cockatrist. At 1,300 gold, this guy should be very, very dangerous to our Crowmen. Let's find out.
You know your positions.
You know what you have to do.
What you have to do.
The Cockatrist now has... You can go ahead and pause and just show off its stats real quick before the battle gets going. So it's got very low armor, but it has a nice bit of barrier at 800. Very quick magical attacks, poison, 46 and 40 or 38 on the melee attack and defense. Armor, piercing, weapon strength, and then it has the petrifying gaze passive, so everyone around it is going to have 10 less melee attack and a 10 less speed. Let's see if this stack of goodies is what it takes to take down our Crowmen. We're just blending through the opponents at this point. And they surround, and the beaky boy hold. He's swapping that tail around. His barrier's gone. No defenses now. Our Crowmen have had their melee attack drop to 25, so theoretically they should be missing a lot of attacks here. And they've been poisoned as well, which will be lowering their attack even further. One Crowman finally falls. They've lost a fair bit of health, so we're going to probably start seeing them drop in bigger numbers. Looks about dead even at the moment. We'll come on away to see some of the attack animation here. Crowmen are continuing to fall. The health is almost dead even, though. So that means with the Crowmen's higher leadership, and the fact that there's so many of them hitting landing blows, the wound will start racking up on the Cockatrist, and it will start doing less damage overall as well. So down by 9 or 11 total now. Give them no new attack orders. It almost looked like a Seek animation. I don't think it was, but it almost looked like one. It looks like the fight is starting to go towards the Crowmen as the leadership on the Cockatrist is starting to waver. I don't think it could stay in. It could maybe do some work. Hit by 1,000 cuts, quite literally. It'd be great if the Crowmen actually were holding little blades. And it looks like Cockatrist is... I don't think he can do it. Stamina. You're still just struggling to land those hits. The Petrifying Gaze is really even things out for them here. Otherwise, this would have been over quite a long time ago. Cockatrist does retreat, and our Crowmen secure a victory against a unit that has almost twice the... Actually, it has more than twice the cost that they do. Big Beaky falls. They basically stop it from falling, and it petrifies itself on the way down. What a cool death animation. And staying on theme with Tzeentch, we are going to get into a battle that is going to be, I think, a bit more difficult for the Crowmen with the heavily armored Doom Knights. I think we've finally probably found something that's met their match, but we are going to stay with Tzeentch. Doom Knights are going to be 1,500 gold. They've got 120 armor. We'll go ahead and take a look at their stats real quick. 120 armor. Very fast speed. Magical attacks 44, 36. And some pretty dangerous weapon melee strength at 80. Crash in, and ooh, that's a bad engagement off the start there. The Crows have worked through the barrier and now are starting to put some damage on the actual Fijian lads. That heavy armor is going to be very hard for them to get through, though. They don't have much armor piercing for Crowmen. The old shield bash. We have found a unit that appears to be a match for our Crowmen, as they are going to turn and run, only losing about 25% HP on the Doom Knights there, which this makes a lot of sense. They're heavily armored and they cost well over twice the amount. The Crowmen absolutely should not win this one. Next up in our testing, we will have another single entity with the 800 gold Feral Manticore. Kind of like the Cockatrist there, it's going to have... Well, this one actually doesn't have poison attacks. What's going on? Since the Beastman variant does not have poison attacks, and the Dark Elf one does. That is... You might have to test the Dark Elf one as well, but poison attacks or no, let's see how the battle plays out. Got some scratchy paws. He's trying some bites, but no crows have fallen yet. He's already rampaged out. The health is dropping so quick. Manticores have pretty low armor. At 45 is going to be 10 higher than the Cockatrist, which has no barrier. Lower overall melee defense. You crows have fallen, though. Do a fair bit of damage per swing. 7 crows fall, but the Manticore in a short order is slain. That's a fast one either way. Brutal quick. But the big flying piggy has fallen. Next in our lineup is going to be the Great Taurus of Hashut. Once more here, I will go ahead and slow things down so you can check out the stat differences here. So they've got 50 armor, which is pretty high. A lot of speed. Melee attack is going to be flaming, 46-28. Armor piercing weapon strength at 450. They are going to have the blazing body ability, which is going to give them some melee reflection and physical resistance up to 25 reflection and 10% resistance the longer they're in melee. So they actually should be reflecting a lot of the crows' damages back at them. Let's see if the Red Bull can handle the crows. Good grief, damage. That should start lessening by quite a bit, reflecting back at the Crowmen. Throwing out cinders out of his horns. Awesome aerial attack animations here for the Red Bull. 3 crows, 4 crows fall. just flailing around. Half health, though, a little bit less now on the Red Bull, and the leadership's really starting to take its toll. It managed to bring down quite a few more than the last, but at 1100 gold, you would hope that it could fight Crowmen and win. And nope, looks like you can trust your Crowmen to protect your skies, even against the likes of Hashut's Chosen. Next, you get to try the Magma Bowl, don't we? I guess it's not over. Nope, there it goes. This is not over yet. He's still slaying left and right. Onward to the Magma Bowl. When I said Magma Bowl, of course I meant Llamasu. So, we'll have them go fight the Llamasu, I'll slow things down, and we'll check its stats in comparison. 5 less armor, a lot more melee defense, magical attacks this time, and with only 36 melee attack, it just is lacking the armor-piercing attacks like its brother, but it doesn't really need them as the Crowmen have almost no armor themselves. It also is going to have 2 bound spells, being the Withering and the Enfeebling Foe, as well as the Sorceress Miasma. So let's see if the Llamasu has what it takes to bring down the Onyx Crowmen. Delivers a pretty nasty smack in its butt. Crowmen have surrounded, even with that melee defense, it's starting to rip in. Well, the Enfeebling Foe is down now, so they are down by 24 on both, down to 11 and 8, which is brutal. Still sustaining a fair bit of damage. Alright, the Withering is dropped down now as well, so armor down to all the way 0. 450 attack, though, is going to be way overkilling on every single hit, so if it doesn't have kind of great AoE attacks like the Gale Taurus did, or not the Gale Taurus, but the Great Taurus, it's going to struggle quite a bit. Layering those spells on, though, the Withering dropping leadership by 8, that may be its best chance here. Crowmen swirl with those blades around. Battle of the DLC characters. Looks like the Llamasu is just not as good as the Crowmen. This guy is going to be 1150 in gold value for multiplayer. And all of these values I'm giving are for multiplayer to kind of give an idea of what we're talking about here. But the Llamasu fails. Onward now to the Magma Taurus. Now the contest begins between the baddest flying monster that Hashut has to offer, the Bale Taurus, versus some Crow Boys. This guy is going to be 1,750 gold for those playing multiplayer, and his stats are going to be pretty nasty. 60 armor, fair bit of leadership, lots of speed, melee attack and defense being much higher than the Great Taurus. Still way less in the defense department. Or 540 armor-piercing weapon strength, and it has the Blazing Body passive, same as the previous. Let's get this battle going. 1750, it should be no contest here. These little crows cost 600. See if he goes for a breath spell. It sure does. That'll be a nice start up to the battle. Recent damage, they're not scared. Flap, flap right under the fray. I'm thinking the Bale Taurus' armor is going to be just about its only chance here. As we've seen, massive amounts of weapon strength don't really help out against the Crowmen. 3 more do meet their dooms, though. There are 6 fallen. Things are very dead even here, though, which is not what you want to see for a monster that almost costs 3 times the amount. We'll take a look at the health bars in a minute, but these battle animations in the Bale Taurus are just awesome. Who wouldn't want to ride to work on a gigantic magma beast? Looks like the Blazing Body is actually starting to play a pretty huge factor here. They're reflecting a lot of the damage those Crowmen are doing, and there's so many of them. Yep, they're terrified on away. We'll see if we can't recover them and then get the bound back, otherwise we are going to go ahead and give that win to the Bale Taurus. Come on, lads, back into the fray. It's not over till it's over. That'll actually weaken the Bale Taurus' Blazing Body, but normally I would consider that a victory for the Bale Taurus. They didn't retreat fully, that was more of a terror rout. That is very scarily even. If you had any other amount of health, the Bale Taurus would be in all kinds of trouble. I mean, same way for the Crowmen, but 1,700 gold. Bale Taurus, I do believe we'll call it as a victory for them. Crowmen are about to go. Keep things on up. Devilishly close, though. Let's find the next challenger. And our next challenger is going to be the Feral Wyvern for the Greenskins, or whoever else is going to be able to get them. Feral Wyverns have, I'm going to go ahead and pause you. I thought slow-mo didn't quite work. 60 armor, so quite a bit more than our average animal monster we've been fighting here. A lot of speed, which doesn't necessarily matter in a fight with Crowmen. 44 and 28 on melee attack and defense with poison attacks. 450 on the weapon strength, armor piercing, and then it rampages. I'm thinking the Wyvern is going to get karate chopped here. Place your bets in the comments below. Not those kind, of course. Completely non-monetary versions. Yeah, now the Wyvern is getting blended. It's going to take something like the Blazing Body to keep a large monster like this safe. It'll be interesting to see how much the armor is actually going to help. Getting through it pretty quick. Creatures has Rampage. I'm trying to stay close because the goofy banner there is so bright. Oh, nice. You smack talk the banner, and yeah, it really doesn't like it. It's trying its best, but the leadership is really starting to take a hit. Some Julius Caesar leadership here. After getting stabbed 40 to 50 times per second with the Crowmen. Well, that's another victory. The Wyvern just doesn't have it. So far, the only things that have been able to bring down our crows being the Doom Knights of Tzeentch and the Bale Taurus. Our next contenders come from Grandfather's Garden directly. Let's see how the Rotflies stack up against our Crowmen. We'll go slow-mo, we'll just send them on over, and we'll take a look at the Rotfly stats. So you've got 40 armor, 34 and 24 on melee attack and defense there, so the Rotflies are going to be 900 gold if I didn't say that previously. They've got 85 weapon strength, most of that being armor piercing. They did recently get a buff where previously there were 8 of them total, and now they're up to 12. We'll see how well that performs against our Crowmen. As far as extra stats, they've got the Cloud of Flies ability, so as long as they're fighting, they've got 9 additional melee defense, and then they got 20% physical resistance to go along with it. Let's see. Pretty even initial volley there, damage flying on both sides. No Crowmen have fallen, and neither have any of the Rotflies. Two Crowmen are down, and no Rotflies yet have been defeated. Have we found the secret tech? How do you defeat crows, but with gigantic, terrifying wasp monsters? It is very even. 5 Crowmen have fallen, 1 Rotfly now taking the sweet nap. They're winded, they're shaken. Crowmen have apparently quite a bit more vigor than your Rotflies do. Doesn't make sense for the unstoppable hordes of Nurgle to be tired this quickly. They're wavering, though both sides are. Uh-oh. Poison is starting to really play an effect, and the Demon's Terror is as well. Come on, Crowmen. This is really good to see, though, because if you're playing Nurgle, you do know that your Crowmen will, or at least your Rotflies, are going to trade very, very evenly against the Crowmen. If you just drop any heals, because Nurgle's got all sorts of different kind of healing, Crowmen should lose that fight quite handily. They're all spread out now. Interesting. Quite unexpected effect. Oh, there goes her outcome, not effect. Looks like the Rotflies are starting to give up. Very close, we might have to do a best 2 out of 3. Alright, best 2 out of 3 battle. We'll go in the maximum speed the whole time. Let's see. And the Rotflies defeat the Crows. Damage going on pretty fast on the Rotflies this time, and it goes back and forth. This is a very, very swingy fight here. It all comes down to that leadership. Because they're so close to their lord here, I think they're standing a bit better of a chance, but they're winning this one. Tiebreaker. Leadership's hanging on just by a thread. Can the Crowmen do it? They're a bit more clumped up this time, so they're getting kind of bopped by all 4 of the, No, the Crowmen lose this time. Ooh, intriguing. Tiebreaker. The tiebreaker battle is afoot. The Crowmen flying on in aggressively. Let's see. It seems like positioning has a huge play in how strong the Crowmen perform in battle. See, they've got surrounding the Rotflies this time. They can take down the crows that were surrounding them quickly. They may have a chance. Otherwise, that is going to be a bad one. Last time the flies almost created a choke point in the air and were surrounding. I don't know. The leadership hanging in. And it's such a close battle. Alright, the Crowmen are going to win the best 2 out of 3, but man, that is a good to see. So the Rotflies still do cost 900 gold. So they cost 300 more than the crows, and the crows win that fight usually. That's still really, really, really good for the Crowmen. Alright, Rotflies. Alright, stick a Plague Bearer on their back, and they become a Plague Drone of Nurgle. Let's see if the Plague Drones are better or worse in combat than they're just simply Fly Brothers there. So they've got the same amount of armor. The only difference is they've got a fair bit more melee defense. They've got someone on their back helping out with a sword. They've got a little bit more weapon strength. So actually, I think the Crowmen should struggle with them quite badly. Let's find out. Speed up as they get closer. They do make perfect little seats on top of their heads, don't they? I mean, I would never ride into battle on a squidgy. Imagine the sound of these giant wings. They don't do it just here. But that's supposedly part of what makes them so terrifying is the sound they create. On top of being a gigantic, bloated wasp. It's very even at the moment, but it looks like the Plague Drones do have the edge. Anyone's game, though. Leadership on the Crowmen does seem to struggle against the terror-causing units. Mind you, we are not activating any of their harmony bonuses. We are just trying to use them at base. And nope, the Plague Drones easily countering the Onyx Crowmen. These guys cost a bit more than the others at 1,200 gold. So do with that what you will, but they are at least something that can fend off Crowmen without taking too much damage in return and losing no models. So Nurgle can easily heal them on back up. We can't have who's the best flyer without having all of the flyers in it. I realized we forgot the carrion for the Tomb Kings. 380 gold is what the carrion cost. We'll let you take a look at their stats. What do you think? Do you think the carrion have what it takes? I'm not even going to say my opinion on this one. Get them, Tomb Kings. Carrion swoop on into the battle. The impact for the flying units is awesome every time. Oh no, what's happening? Yeah, now the piranhas of the sky are dealing with the carrion in short order, although the shots here are going to pop up below here probably right after. That's pretty much exactly what I thought was going to happen. That's a karate chop. Not a single model lost, and how much health? Just a little bit, about 200. Let's get out of here. Having the vampire count step back into the ring, we have the Geist. Very, very glass cannon units. They've got a ton of melee attack, 10 armor. They've got frenzy and a lot of weapon strength. Let's see if they have what it takes to bring down our Onyx Crowmen. I guess they've also got hunger as well, being vampires. They shall be healing in battle. Let's see. Didn't take your wand of jet again. I do also love that these guys have different mohawks depending on which faction they're with. Ooh, that's not a good look. Turns out everyone has an Achilles, even a giant mohawk beast. The healing is just not helping them. They're weak binding already. This guy is probably helping that out a little bit. Several of our guys have already crumpled. They brought down 4 though. But 5. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go the way of the Vargeist. Vargeist are going to cost 900 gold, and they're going to lose to the Onyx Crowmen. Last two beasties fall, all in this synchronized formation and splat on the ground below. They're much bigger than I expect every single time. Big old beasties. But failures. Now we see how well the Devils of Schwarzheim, Regiment of Renown of our Geist, do in their stead. So these guys have a lot more attack and defense, being 3 gold chevron tiers at max eliteness there. They've also got, I think, just slightly higher overall melee stats than the previous, as well as Vanguard deployment. I don't know if anything else actually is better on them, so we'll see if they have what it takes. Onward to liberty. Much better initial charge for the Devils of Schwarzheim there with that much higher melee attack. Already one of them falls. Crowmen as well. Much worse when the Vargeist lose models though. That is a lot of their damage going all at once. Several of the crows get swatted. That much higher melee attack is really helping them out. And the Devils have terrified them on off. Take a look at that. That's what I would consider a victory for the Devils of Schwarzheim, because if they're smart, they'll chase them off all the way. That is victory for the Regiment of Renown, at least, unit of Vargeist. Next up for our crows to throw down with is going to be the Terrorgeist. This guy's going to cost 2,050. It's even more than the Bale Taurus by quite a huge margin, so he better perform even better than the Bale Taurus against our crows here. So the stats are going to be as follows. 80 armor, which is a fair bit, a lot of health here. Poison attacks, 41 and 47 on melee attack and defense. Armor piercing, anti-large attacks itself. Got a death streak, so we will have to watch out for that. Well, watch out being it is going to get blasted. It's going to get an initial hit off on our lads there. And then it also is going to regenerate. It doesn't have the hunger, it just regenerates flat out. Let's see if the crows have what it takes. 600 gold versus 2,000. This should be a smashing. Fly on into the fray with our... Oh no! Jerry, Stuart, Lou, Bob, Frank, and Tom. But still a very good charge for the crows. Ripping the health off the Terrorgeist. Just a grotesque beast. Tongue is sticking through the teeth. Those banners in our way, though. That's better. Alright, Terrorgeist, you have what it takes. If you can break the leadership on our crows, I think you'll have it. Zoom on out, the leadership is still fine, but it's fine on the Terrorgeist as well. This one looks to be a bit more of a stalemate, so we'll speed things up a bit. They're completely surrounding it, but they're not hitting very often, which is really good for the Terrorgeist. Really low attack rolls. And it's just dropping crows with each swing. The longer it takes them to do damage. High armor, I think, is what we're really seeing here, because the Crowmen, as we've been mentioning, their weapon strength is only 26. It's very high for normal. It's got very low armor piercing, so anything above 80 armor is going to be very, very good at warding off their attacks. As we are definitely seeing here. And it looks like the 2,000 cost Terrorgeist, I mean, they still take down almost, or a little bit more than a half of its health, so... Crowmen are absolute piranhas in the skies. Circling back around to the feathery blue boys, we are going to pit the Lord of Change, which is a greater demon of Teach, against our Crowmen. Let's see. Big blue arcane beastie versus the crows, who's going to launch out the bound spell he's got with him. Go ahead and slow things down so I can take a look at the stats. 30 armor, 45 on melee attack and defense. Fair bit of armor piercing weapon strength, 420. Nice. And then nothing kind of innate to it except for a bit of 20% physical resistance that most demons have. Let's see if it has what it takes. Crowmen are already through the almost through the barrier. See how much damage the bold bluebird can take. If the sorcerer wants to go throw down with Zhao Ming, I can guarantee you don't. Let's see how strong you are. Of a dual fight. Getting that staff through the crows. Lords of Change are not necessarily known for their melee potential, but being as they've only got 2 bound spells, they've kind of got to hold their own, especially against other flyers. These guys are very expensive. If you know, put in the comments. I didn't actually check beforehand because I'm a professional. It's not over yet. It's very, very even. Zhao Ming, alright, get out of here. Get out of here. You proved it. Ran up and smacked him in the back of the head. This is a battle between the crows and the bluebird. Ink sparks are flying. Well, it looks like the resistance is starting to wear thin. That's not exactly how it works, but the wounds are starting to rack up. They're getting more high rolls on their melee attack. Actually landing those little shivs. Surprisingly enough, it looks like the Lord of Change is struggling here. Oh no, he's really struggling. The Lord of Change, I don't know if they can handle Crowmen. I think it's the armor. Lack of armor is really what's allowing Crowmen to rip them apart. Yeah, it's pretty definitive. There's no even real reason to do a best 2 out of 3, even with the blue fire shot. Before battle, the Crowmen easily defeat the Lord of Change. Who would have thought? Tzeentch is very disappointed in you. And lastly for Tzeentch, we are going to round things out with the Golden Griffin of Theurgy. We are on a different map as well because I had just realized that we had been playing on the very hard battle difficulty for these battles, and that doesn't actually change anything other than the AI. And you actually do lose a little bit of your own leadership. So now we have the normal base value leadership, where before we were losing, I believe it was 4 to 6. I don't know the exact value, but it was somewhere between 4 to 6 leadership, so they weren't quite performing at their basically their base stats with none of the either easy mode or hard mode applied. So if you wanted to know how they would kind of perform for multiplayer, they would perform a little bit better and last a little bit longer in combat than they were in the previous couple battles there. All of the fights that were on the more wastelandy map are going to be on very hard battle difficulty. Everything here going forward with our testing is going to be on a normal. That way it's more in line for multiplayer. I normally play on very hard difficulty, but this is kind of just better to get a baseline of what the Crowmen are capable of. So the Golden Griffin is quite a bit more expensive than the normal variant and is going to be a bit more dangerous. It's got almost 5, well, it's got 11 more melee attack and defense both. Same amount of weapon strength, but it's got 2 different spells there, being the Searing Doom and Guinness Golden Hound. So if it is actually able to cast Searing Doom, or if it thinks it can, it could pretty much just slay the entire group of Onyx Crowmen in a single cast, especially if it was to land first and then cast either one. So this is a fight where if it's a player using the Golden Griffin, it will win every single time. But we're going to basically just play as if it is a on the campaign map, if they're just throwing each other into the fray. So 1850 is how much this guy is going to cost, 600 on the Crowmen, and then the previous Lord of Change is actually going to cost 500, or 1500, at 1,000. They have impacted and man, they're taking a long time to get through that barrier. It does seem to be that about the 80 to 90 armor mark becomes very, very difficult for those Crowmen to actually get those shivs to do any work. They need some oil of accuracy, because that's how it works. 4 have already fallen. This could actually be a very long, drawn-out battle here, where the Crowmen are getting absolutely smacked. I will go ahead and speed things along and roll near the end of it. Alright, we're a couple minutes in. The Crowmen are really not getting any damage. They're getting some really low attack rolls, and all of that armor is just in the way. The Golden Griffin, anything I'm thinking with probably 70, 80, 90 armor and above, is going to be very, very difficult for those Crowmen to actually do anything to. And they still take down about a 4th health, which is pretty terrifying for a unit that costs 600. But if you have any other kind of teach units or spells, these Crowmen get absolutely shredded. And a one-on-one, though, think about sort of its health off will speed things along just a little bit. But let you watch these combat animations here as the Crowmen continue to fall, and they're going to go ahead and flee on away, terror routed. Golden Griffin claims victory, but not the normal Lord of Change. Intriguing. Stepping up to the plate next is going to be the Lizardman, and we are going to start off with the Ripperdactyl Riders. So the Pterodons that are going to be coming in a little bit before these guys are not capable of fighting the Crowmen at all. They basically just get karate chopped into oblivion. It's a 2-second fight. There's only 10 models, and they have 23 and 24 melee defense each. What are you guys up to? Come over here and duel my crows. Sweet. As they fly on over, we can go ahead and take a look at the Ripperdactyl. I'm going to say the name wrong every time. Ripperdactyl Riders stats there. They've got Frenzy, which is the first thing you're seeing there. They're pretty dangerous. Let's pause. Relax. You guys are getting a little bit aggressive. We've got 45 armor, 90 speed, which I keep reading off, but that doesn't matter. 54 on the attack and 25 on the defense, so they're not really going to be defending themselves very much. But they do have an armor piercing and bonus versus infantry attack of 15, so that is actually going to be helping out a huge bit against the Crowmen there. They've got a massive charge bonus as well, so let's see if our 60 crows have what it takes to bring down some of the scariest flying cavalry in all of Lustria. That'll begin. I'm not sure if this Skeet Chief's up to. He is ready to throw down with someone. The crows engage, and they just get sliced. Alright, now the damage is going back and forth there. That's a very brutal battle. One of the fastest ones we've had there. And it looks like Ripperdactyl's damage and bonus versus infantry is going to win the day. I don't think they lose a single model there in that fray. They lose just the one. Perfectly, you're gonna got a not exactly a counter to the Crowmen because they do still take some damage in return, but that's just kind of how the Ripperdactyls are. They're very berserkery. Well, the Ripperdactyls served our crows another defeat, but let's see if they maybe can hang in against the Quattle, the largest monster in the air that the Lizardmen are fielding. The Quattle it's not exactly keyed for offense, so perhaps the Crowmen are going to be able to bring it on down. More of a support monster than anything else. And for all those who know, Quattle absolutely should not have a beak. Anyway, they've got 70 armor, which this should be the defining factor for our Crowmen there. Not very high melee stats, like I was saying. Bit of armor piercing and weapon damage, 395, which is actually lower than a lot of even the Manticores we've been facing off against. But it does have the lesser chain lightning, which is still got 100% armor piercing, a little bit less damage than the normal one, and then a Ran's Thunderbolt. Another case of if it was to use its spells properly, it would likely slap the Crowmen, but let's see if in a straight up melee, who would win? Fight over the pagoda? That might cause some problems. Where's the health bar for the Quattle? It looks to be very even so far. Hopefully we can get the camera into a spot where we can see both. Laser beam shots going out from the Quattle there. Well, it looks like it's getting dragged down. We also may be having a case where these guys are attacking from literally a complete surround. A 360 surround. We'll have to try another one on my own. If nothing changes, I will not keep it in, though. Swooping around. It's doing what it can to batter the crows, but only 6 have fallen so far. I think it's going to be very similar to how the Manticore and Cockatrist performed. Where it's doing a lot of damage, but only to 1 or 2 crows at a time. 3 fell that time. We've had to zoom way out to see the Quattle's health. Down to under half. Blood mixing with the mist. As previously stated, though, the Quattle's not really meant for straight-up combat with groups of infantry. Speed up ever so slightly there. As we've seen most of those combat animations, it's just dropping 1 or 2 crows at a time. And it does look as though the Crowmen are going to at least be able to handle the Quattle. Doesn't have all of the nasty stats the Riperdactyls do, though, so it's a bit more understandable that they're able to pull off the victory here. Pretty handily, too. And testing Tiplock Spawn just to try, they did manage to defeat the Crowmen pretty easily there. A lot of damage taken in return, but more easily than the previous variant, simply because better combat stats, of course. Same amount of armor, but they've also got the Earth Bloodbound spell and then the Arona's Time Warp, which both were used. Didn't show you the entire battle because it was very long-winded, but Crowmen were defeated. That is yet another loss for the Crows, but one that should have definitely been very easily won for our opponent here, but it wasn't, which is, again, testament to the Crows' power. And that's it for our gauntlet of tests for the Onyx Crowmen. You'll notice there are some flying units we did not show, and this was due to the AI refusing to let those units stay into combat and just duke things out with the Crows. The Great Hawks, Great Eagle, Frost Worm, all forms of the dragons, and all of the flying Bretonnian cavalry refuse to cooperate for the tests, and so shall not be included. Although the Hawks and Eagle did get trounced in the fight, and they still, though, attempt to cycle charge, which does throw things off. So as things sit, as long as your flying units has less than 70 armor or has a bonus versus infantry specialty, you'll probably want to keep them well away from the Moon Empress's Piranha of the Sky. And in terms of proper flying infantry, they are now firmly the kings. Let me know, though, what you all thought down below in the comments. Did any of these matchups surprise you, or did the murderous murder of Crows perform just about how you expected? I'd love to know what you all think, but I am out of time for today. I have been Space Wizard Total War. Remember to leave a like for the light god and a sub for the sub zone. I'll see you on the next one.